welcome back. Today I'll be painting two lures for a friend. He gave me a bag full of blanks and said be as creative as I want to be, so hopefully he likes what I've come up with. My plan is to paint these over the course of a 2-day period. It's a multi-step process I have planned out. First I'm going to hit it with white, dry that up, and then bright yellow and a really bright chartreuse with orange on the bottom of it, on the belly or chest of it, and then spray over the chartreuse with a maroon or a black with a pattern that allows it to shine through. In the meantime, and why it takes 2 days, is I will spray it with it's basically a clear coat that glows in the dark, or causes the paint underneath to glow in the dark, more specifically. And that takes overnight usually to dry if you're doing it well, and then the maroon or the black will go over the top of that. The reason I say maroon or black is I mix it up to be maroon, but sometimes it gets a little too dark, and by the time it hits the bait it looks black. So I think that combination sounds weird, but I really think it looks nice when I'm done. So wish me luck and stick with me. I think it'll be fun. Okay, for those of you tired of hearing the air compressor, I apologize. It's actually the quietest air compressor I could find. It's a requirement, so it's what it is. But, it's actually a Hitachi, supposed to be what they call an indoor silent air compressor, and it's pretty quiet, I think, but I do know that the camera picks up the sound a lot more than maybe my ears do. Plus, well, you've seen me, I'm old. So my first shot at this is going to be to hit it with a opaque white, and you've all watched what I get up to here. I just basically mix up the white and try not to get too much of what I don't want in the paint. Well, that's better. So this is, for all intents and purposes, an acrylic thinner. It's made with denatured alcohol, hopefully you can see that, and basically distilled water with sometimes I'll put a touch of glycerin in it just for lubricating the brush, but that's as far as that goes. The other thing that I normally do is I'll clean the baits down just to make sure I don't have any of my grubby fingers on them, and then of course I tape off the lips here, but I'm not overly perfect with that usually, but I mean well. And I usually keep a cheap brush to mix it. The consistency I'm looking for is, well, basically whole milk. I don't know if a person remembers what that looks like, but it's what you would imagine whole milk would be. The thinner you get it, the easier it sprays, and the more coats you have to put on. The thicker you get it, the harder it sprays, and the less, obviously. But for the sake of adhesion, you want to find that happy medium too. So what we're going to do is just spray it all white, and you can watch it. It'll slowly go from that clear to having just a little bit of white on it. This takes, oh boy. Yeah, I'm going to start that fan. I'm sorry guys, I've been trying to be quiet with all this fans and everything else, but that is some terrible sound. I run the compressor at basically 30 psi. I don't go too nuts with it up or down. If you go too fast with it, it's just not good. We'll just go with that. So you get beyond 30 psi, and I don't think it's helpful at all. I just think it causes more problems than it's worth. If you stick there or below, you can do a little more detailed work. But when you're just spraying out to spray out, wow, that's a neat bait. But there's a lot of texture in that bait. That's that. Now I'll speed it up a little bit here and dry it off, and that'll give me an opportunity to clean up the mess I just made. Yellow. I pre-mixed this one, but this is the actual color I'm going to use. They're not the same. They might look the same, but this one's going to have more of a white tone to it, whereas this is going to be straight up yellow. I've considered neon as well. See, this is choices and fun times. This is a glow that really doesn't come through, but this neon will. These are inexpensive paints. The Createx that you saw me start with is a name brand that costs us $1 or $2. These came from, well, they come from like Walmart or Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. They're not. You can buy them off Amazon cheap too, and that's kind of the fun part of this, is that what you need to pull this off. You can see this mixes differently. The other one just turned right into that milk, right, that we talked about. These turn into, I don't know, something a little different when you thin them out. These spray harder than that milk stuff does through the gun, but it gets to be kind of a, I don't know what you'd call that, kind of a little bit slimy, but you can see how bright that color is, or how bright that tone's going to be. And so, is that enough? I think that's enough to pull it off. And again, the goal isn't to paint the entire thing this color. The goal is to create kind of a sunrise thing going here, up from the bottom. So right in the middle. So we're gonna start the brush, and I keep working it back and forth until I see that tone, and I'm happy with it. And you probably can't see it, but it's subtle, but it's there. And what it's going to do is it'll caused the green that I hit next to look like I kind of melted into it. Color already, but if we add just a little bit of the same idea but in a green, it shows through that dark color, in my opinion, so much better. So I don't like to get any of that dry paint, and nothing ruins your day more than getting something like that stuck in the airbrush. But that's just, yep, it's coming. And this doesn't take very much to overpower the yellow. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but it really takes very little to overpower the yellow. And that is the color I was after. Really nice. You can see how, again, it's really thick and sticky. But hopefully you can see if you look at it with that yellow, how that tonally looks kind of cool. And so, I'm going to put that there. Another squirt of the thinner. I don't know what you'd call what it does here, but it doesn't go completely thin, if that makes sense. It's stickier, I guess. I don't know. What's brown and sticky? A stick, right? So here we go. We're gonna put that over here. Tilt that towards me. Tilt this towards me. You can see there's a little pattern in there already. This bait has a lot of, well, it's got scales and it's got all kinds of things going on, which normally would lend to what I'm up to, but sometimes make sure it's spraying clean. And this is going to take a little bit, you guys. In order for me to get this deep like I want it to, I'm going to have to hit it a few times. It'll start to look like it's flowing on its own, if that makes any sense at all. I guess that's kind of what people see when they think about things that glow. They kind of are used to this neon green color is what blows through. But trust me when I tell you, I can make about any color glow with this spray paint, but it does have a tendency to show this green color through. It's not right. I have somewhere here I have actual glow-in-the-dark spray paint, or spray paint here, glow-in-the-dark, not spray paint, but paint, and yeah, it glows. It doesn't glow as bright or as hot as the others, but hopefully this is coming through, and you can see where that yellow came in on the bottom, and it just blends it down. I'm not trying to bring this green down, and the texture I'm going to put on here is going to end, basically it'll be part of the face, texture up by the eyes, that sort of thing. But it'll end halfway down the bait. I'm hoping you can see that. And if you can't, I'll do a better job next time. I say that every time, so my goal with each one of these videos is just to entertain you a little bit, show you something that I'm up to, and it's always fun to show my friends, hey, here's me painting your bait. So look at that, got an orange version of what we're after already. Again, gotta be careful. If it does come through and you do get it in there, it's not world's end, you just pick it out, but you get paint all over your hand. So it doesn't take much, it'll take less than that. I have a gazillion of different colors I can use, but it's kind of no. Not that that would do terrible things, it just would do good things. And this is going to come through really thin. You can see it's mixing harder than the other, but when it's done, it'll be fine. It's all fine. It's all good. I like these little cups. They're inexpensive. You can get them from anywhere. These, the black ones, I don't know, they show up good with the bright colors. I usually use a clear, but I think it's completely unnecessary to use the clear. You can see the color just fine in this black, and it doesn't seem to mess with my head too bad. Let me grab that glow paint and I'll show you what that looks like. In the meantime, have a really nice view of the finished product here so far. You can see the orange comes up with just a tiny bit onto the bait on the sides. Nothing too extravagant. When you just, I don't know, somebody said that it's like a target or from below, I don't know. You know, perch look like that, and that's where it comes from. But this is what makes these things glow. You don't see a lot of glow-in-the-dark crankbaits, I suppose, but in stained water or in the evening, that little bit of difference, I think, makes a difference. So I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, and I'm 53 years old, I think, 52, and so I still have time to be wrong again. Promise it won't bother me if it doesn't bother you, but I'm still going to glow them because I think it looks cool. Alright, I'll catch you back after, well, starting tomorrow, I guess. You have a good evening, and thanks for sticking with me.